Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton, and joining me on the podcast today is TMZ Hip Hop's own Trent Clark.
What's going on, Charlie?
How are you, Trent?
Can't complain.
That's good, man. Good energy this morning. You got a lot of energy.
I mean, it's a lot going on. So I'm just getting all my ducks in a row. But yeah, it's exciting in hip hop. So
Yeah, it is
I do
now.
have energy.
We're going through a season of beef. Well-seasoned beef.
Facts.
There seems to be so much beef going around. So I got you in specifically to talk about the Quavo and Chris Brown beef. So we'll get to that. We're also going to talk about Alec Baldwin. He was kind of harassed by a pro-Palestinian protester.
Kinda.
And then reacted. Rebel Wilson, God, man, when will she just go away? She continues to dribble out these outlandish stories. This one is involving a royal family member. And at the end here, we'll do an almost news segment about Kim Kardashian.
Nice.
How would she feel about being almost news on the TMZ pod, I wonder?
I think it would make her day.
Yeah, probably. To begin with, Quavo just released his response to Chris Brown's diss track. So over the weekend, Chris Brown released a diss track on Quavo called Weakest Link, where basically he said that he is the weakest link in the Migos.
Yep.
And then Quavo has now responded with, oh my God, some of the best disses, I think. I personally love it. But let's listen to their back and forth now in short. The first one we're going to play you is Chris Brown. And we got to do like a bit of a warning. You know, lyrics may be offensive, warning, okay? But let's listen to Chris Brown now.
R.I.P. Takeoff, he the only real one that got true respect. Crazy how when he died, everybody really wished it was you instead.
Wow. Really wished it was Quavo dead instead of Takeoff. Crazy. And then yesterday night, Quavo responded with his song, Over Hoes and Bitches, it's called. Let's have a listen to some of that now.
Little bitch come dance battle with my Drake. You been fucked your bag up when you punch Rhea in the face. Talking about fashion week, you sparing who come punch me in my face. It ain't nothing but a fade. You know you lost to Frank. Niggas ran in your house, tied up your aunt cause you ain't pay. This bullet got your name. Don't ever bring up tape. Pussy.
Okay, Trent.
Yeah.
What's your initial response? I'm very curious. I don't want to sort of lead the witness with my own take. So what do you think about this back and forth?
I think Quavo did not come hard enough.
Oh.
Chris Brown literally tore his head off with that.
Oh.
Actually, I'm not even going out on a limb here. Chris Brown dropped one of the most brutal diss songs in hip-hop history.
Wow.
Yeah.
I agree. To begin with, like, when I heard Chris Brown's track, I was like, man, Quavo should just take the L. But then when I heard...
Or take some time.
Take some time. You think he didn't take enough time and you didn't like his response?
Chris Brown made a bop too. You know, that's a key component to making a effective diss song. You have to make it catchy. You have to make it funny. You have to make it witty. Chris Brown nailed all those points. Quavo did not. Quavo basically ran down all of Chris Brown's crimes and misdemeanors. But he didn't put it in a way that people are going to continue to replay it. Now,
interesting.
Now, like this back and forth is real beef.
Right.
These guys really hate each other, so it could get violent really quick. So the emotions on both songs are definitely high. But Chris Brown nailed it. Quavo got to come a little harder. Even Suge Knight tweeted that Quavo didn't come hard enough.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, I'm just a white boy from Australia, so what do I know? But I thought Quavo killed it. Honestly, he's got a feature by Takeoff. Takeoff like sings the chorus. Do you know if that's AI or it's just like tracks that they've got stored out?
Oh, the Migos used to put out albums with 20 songs a pop. They have music for days. So I'm pretty sure there is probably a full Takeoff album in the vault if they wanted to release it. They could probably have another Migos run with Takeoff vocals if they did. These guys were in the studio every night, so there's a lot of music.
And also, like, you say, like, this is real feelings. That's what I think makes it a good beef.
Exactly.
As opposed to, I think some of the other beefs going on right now in hip-hop and rap are kind of manufactured and for clicks. where this one does seem like they really hate each other.
And it's all over a woman.
And it's all over Saweetie, Karrueche.
Yep.
I mean, Saweetie even responded to this. She got mentioned in the rap and she responded to it. My question is, and I know you're not a lawyer, but how much violence can you threaten in a diss track and it's cool?
Well, I mean, historically, we've seen there's no punishment for the freedom of speech.
Right.
Some of these lyrical attacks. So, I mean, as long, the saying is keep it on wax, fellas. So as long as, they don't both be in the same club vicinity and bottles start flying or, anything worse than that. But, it's definitely a war and Chris Brown is leading it.
Wow. That's crazy, man. I must know nothing. My producer Wild told me the same thing. I was like, wow, wait till I get Trent in here, man. He'll teach you a few things. And now I'm being taught a few things. Quavo even used the photo of Chris Brown doing domestic violence on Rihanna as the...
You know how you get like a porterhouse steak, served hot and piping and it's got that little measly garnish just sitting there wilted on the side, that's not helping anything.
Wow.
He's trying to, he didn't think this one through.
So do you think that because he wanted to respond so fast that he didn't write the best lyrics he possibly could?
I mean, that's essentially Chris Brown's reaction. Chris Brown said he was excited to hear Quavo's response. He turned up all the way level. I'm pretty sure Chris Brown deep down doesn't, mean 100% the things he's saying. He said it in the song that, he's saying it to push his buttons, he's going to strike a nerve, so it is just battle rap, this and forth, I hate you type raps. But, Quavo, he just didn't come hard enough.
Do you think that this is going to continue now, this back and forth? I think if what you say is true and that's common consensus that Chris Brown, got the W, then maybe he'll be encouraged to put out another one that, and Quavo will have to respond to try and save his cool.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the ball would be in Chris Brown's court because, Quavo just responded. But yeah, it really is. But at the same time, Chris Brown doesn't have to respond and he can still win. My guess is Chris Brown is just going to take it into social media fodder. He already beat him in the music game, so he's going to continue to poke fun at Chris Brown in the social media. And also Chris Brown's fans are really loyal. So anything he says, they laugh, they hop to it.
I hope this continues because it's really entertaining. It's genuine. It's one of the best rap beefs. It's probably the best rap beef I've been around for.
Chris Brown, again, he released one of the most effective diss tracks I've ever heard.
Wow. Okay. That's from TMZ Hip Hop's Trent Clark, so it's true. Stamp of authority. Okay, on to our next story. Alec Baldwin smacked a phone out of an anti-Israel agitator. Let's look and listen to the clip now.
No jail time, Alec. No jail time, Alec. You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin. I'm so sorry. Free Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone, I swear. Just say free Palestine one time. One time. One time.
Call the police.
One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. You know he's a fucking criminal. Come on, Alec. Just say free Palestine one time. One time. Just one time. Please. And I'll leave you alone. Free Palestine. Fuck Israel. Fuck Zionism. Please say it. One time.
Could you do me one quick favor?
And that's when he smacks the phone. And you can see why, because that clip goes on for a long time. Yeah. And this lady is incessant, regardless of, how she feels about Palestine and Israel. This is not an effective way to get your message across, I think. And to who? To Alec Baldwin? Like he's going to change any hearts and minds. What?
Agreed. By her logic, she should be doing this to everybody, not just Alec Baldwin. But, my observation is how sackless is the coffee shop worker? You got clearly a disturbance in your store and, you're just sitting there watching it happen and you have a mask and gloves on. So, technically you're safe, from the germs from the
maybe the germaphobe
customer. But I'm just saying, why aren't you keeping the peace?
Well, what do you do though? He didn't say anything. I don't think you could physically remove the woman.
Of course, if someone's creating a ruckus in your establishment, you have every right to remove them.
You're allowed to remove them?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good to know. If anyone comes into TMZ, I'm going to take them out. but I thought you can just he could have shooed, the woman a bit more, but he didn't even. You're right about that. I didn't have that take, but you are right. Look, Alec Baldwin is about to go to trial for involuntary manslaughter. And it's very hard to keep your cool in a situation like this, but he probably should have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Alec Baldwin's, known to have a short fuse, but in this case, the woman was clearly trying to push his buttons. I mean, I guess in this case, the best course of action would be to lay low until all the legal proceedings blow over. But at the same time, I don't think he's really worried. I think he's kind of innocent. So.
Oh, there you go. Hot take. Very good. My big thing from this is just everyone's looking to go viral these days.
100%.
This lady just wants to go viral. It's probably for her political causes, but also her own causes, like just propelling herself.
Watch how many interviews she does after it.
I know. It's kind of just annoying, like where we're at. But there you go. On to our next story. Rebel Wilson has more claims from her book. This time, she says that a royal family member invited her to a drug-fueled orgy. So in her Rebel Rising memoir, she said she was invited to an event by an unnamed member of the royal lineage in 2014. She says, I got thrown a last-minute invite to a tech billionaire's party. The guy who invited me, who's like 15th or 12th or 20th in line to the British throne, had said to my male friend, we need more girls. And then she got there, they offered her Molly and said the orgy's about to start. Oh, and by the way, all of this was like medieval themed. So she was in a buxom damsel dress and it was on a ranch. This sounds like a movie, out on a ranch. You know what I mean? Offered This sounds like a movie.
A porn movie.
A porn movie.
At the very beginning, when everybody's still dressed.
Right. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. There's probably elements of truth to it, I suppose. I just think that like when will she stop? You know what I mean? Like what now this memoir's out of the way. Are all of these stories gonna stop coming out? And
yeah, I think celebrities are also playing this memoir sell books game, in between projects, and any bit of dirt or salaciousness they can stuff in between the pages, they go overboard with. There's really no point or end to this story.
Yeah. What's the motto?
Yeah, you left, so we can't even confirm if the orgy even happened.
Yeah, true. That's so true. Maybe she misheard the guy. Also, is Molly the drug you take just before an orgy?
Well, she said 2014, so 100% it would be.
Okay, there we go, Trent. Wow.
The EDM movement was very strong back then. I don't know about mermaids and medieval times, but yeah, Molly was a thing back then.
Okay, good to know. How is Rebel going to get work from this point on? Like, she's just exposed everyone in her life. Would you really want her on set with you where you worry that if you do anything that she doesn't like, then maybe you'll be in the next book?
Well, maybe for a mermaid and swimming pool medieval movie.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, like
an orgy movie. She should maybe that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to get this movie made.
Do those do well? Like, Zach and whatchamacallit make a porno. And
oh, those kind of hijinks comedy.
PG-13 sex movies.
I'm not sure. I don't watch those ones. I watch higher than PG.
Right. So, yeah, maybe she back to the drawing board with this one.
Could be. Okay. On to our final story, our almost news segment. We started this episode with beef, and we're going to end it with beef because Kim Kardashian went on Jimmy Kimmel, and she talked to Jimmy about just about everything besides her feud with Taylor Swift. Let's listen to some of the little tidbits she talked about now.
Is it true you blow dry your jewelry before you put it on?
Very true.
Why do you do that?
Because I hate being freezing, and when you put on cold jewelry or anything with a zipper, I need it warm.
You have someone take the Starbucks sleeve off your coffee because you hate the sound of cardboard.
And yes, that's true, and I hate the feeling.
You can change a tire?
I can.
Who taught you?
Probably my stepdad.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
I've had to do it.
You founded your own church?
My mom did.
Your mom did, yeah. Your mom founded a church, huh?
Some of these not supposed to be true, but they really are, and you guys didn't know.
So it was interesting to me that they literally discussed everything under the sun. But the one thing people want to know about from Kim is her response basically to Taylor Swift, who just came out with an album with a whole diss song against Kim. And I don't know if there was some sort of rules going into the interview, but she didn't talk about it.
Well, I mean, you just said it yourself. There's a feud going on, and why promote? Why help sell the enemy's new album?
That's true.
You know, her silence pushed the Taylor Swift album out of the headlines. You know, now we got a bunch of nonsense.
Interesting. I agree with that because, yeah, Taylor's got this song, like Thank You, Amy, I think it's called. Yeah. And now, like, Kim is losing followers, apparently, on Instagram, and everyone's getting in Kim's comments saying, okay, Amy, okay, like, Amy this, Amy that. From the feud we talked about at the start to this feud now, this one feels a bit pettier, and, I mean, I don't know. I think there's real feelings here, too. I think Taylor really doesn't like Kim.
No, I think Taylor is, you know, like looking kind of like what I just said about the memoir. She's looking for stuff to sell the album, you know. Kanye and I guess for Kim, for what it's worth, you know, they're really not shy for confrontation, especially if they can get in the headlines. But they've kind of walked away from Taylor Swift years ago.
Yeah, because you're right. They've got nothing to promote out of this, and they're not making money out of this beef.
Right.
And if they were, maybe they would be leaning in, like Taylor's leaning in because she wants people to, you're right, buy her album. But like one of the lines in the album is about how Taylor says her mum used to wish death on Kim Kardashian.
Yep.
Like that's a pretty like big thing for the biggest pop star to say about the biggest reality star.
And then Kim turns around and says, you know, my mom founded a church. So we're on the angel side and those are the demons.
That's so true, man. That's so true. What side are you on, the angels or the demons? Just in general, not about this beef. Just in general.
Oh, always the angels.
Yeah.
Always the angels, anti-demon all the way.
Oh, love to hear it, mate. Love to hear it. Maybe we need to start a little beef so that we get the podcast numbers up.
Or our own church.
Or get our own church. That might help too.
If Kris Jenner can do it, then.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Trent.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Goodbye.